/PG-13.
Yeah. Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back for our Survivor prop bet game. It's our final Survivor game that everybody can participate in. We're going to do the huge rundown of the prop bet. But if you haven't done boot list yet and you want to check out the boot list, that's our last video. Go on over there, comment on the video with your boot list. We explain everything there, so we're going to explain the prop bet here because that one always takes longer. Luckily, this year, Alexa's the one inputting the prop bets instead of myself. I'm very excited about that because the prop bets are the worst.
I believe Phil submitted 85 to our Google Doc as of this evening, this afternoon.
I did this today. It took me like 2 hours to do 85 boot lists.
It's insane. And like I did the boot list last year, and I'm sure it's going to be the same for the prop bet. But like, it's kind of like if you say a word so many times, it's like not even a word to you anymore. That's what it was like last year. I was like, what's a Chrissy? Like where does this all go? Like they all just blend together into these different names. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it because we put in a lot of hours into submitting these.
Yes,
so thank you. And keep doing them. Keep doing them. Keep making it difficult for us. We want a lot.
One day when Alexa and I make enough money, we'll hire an intern to do all of this fun stuff.
Someday.
If anyone wants Adam Klein as our intern.
If anybody wants an unpaid internship, please DM at Survivor Specialist. Please Facebook message at Survivor Specialist.
The whole internship is only half inputting. Yeah, the inputting prop bets, which are the worst. But here we go. We're going to run through the prop bets beforehand too. So we're going to give all the prop bets. We added in 2 new ones. They're both related to Ghost Island. We figured since it's Ghost Island, let's try to relate these back to Ghost Island. So what you're going to do is there's 20 prop bets. There's 20 contestants on this season of Survivor. You can use each person one time. Because seriously, it's normally the people that don't really listen to us, but like there was one guy who did he did Troyzan 4 times the one season, and it's like that's not what this is. That happens a lot, especially with the people who start entering later and they just hear about it and they're like, oh, I can figure this out without looking. Read the rules, listen to the podcast, go look at the example down below. You're going to do each person once, and on top of that, it has to equal out to 40. You give each bet either 1, 2, or 3 points. If you did 2 for all of them, it would equal out to 40. So an easy way to remember this, Will brought this up. He was really proud of himself. Make sure your 1s and your 3s equal out to the same amount. So if you have 5 1s, you want 5 3s. Pretty much the way that this goes is you're basing this based on who are you most confident in. So a really confident bet is a 3-point bet. A really unconfident bet is a 1-point bet. So that's what you're doing it based on. It has to equal out to 40. So make sure that it equals out to 40. Make sure you only use each person once. It's more complicated than the boot list, but it's really fun when you get going. We are doubling. We're doubling the winner still, right? We did that last year.
Yes. So if you put 3 points, if you put your winner with a confidence level of 3, you get 6 points if that person wins. So that's kind of cool.
So the most points you can get in this game is 43 points. So that's like a perfect game. To put into perspective, I think the winner last year had 18. So it's you don't really ever hit that high, but make sure that it equals out to 40 when you're doing it, and you don't have to put you don't put 6 for the winner. We know if you put 3, it's just going to be doubled. So but obviously it pays to take a little bit of a risk on the winner. So we'll just run through these. Alexa, you want to run through them real quick, what they are?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want me to just run through what they are, and then when we do each one, we'll give a quick description of them?
Yeah, well talk about it later. Just run through it now, when it's one is.
So our 20 prop bets. The first one is the winner. Who do you think is going to be the winner? I know I'm still undecided on who my winner pick is. So I'm kind of throwing someone who I think could do it. I'm probably not going to decide my winner pick until 6 minutes before the premiere. So first one is winner. Second is a hashtag blindside. So when this person's voted out, they get the hashtag blindside pop up. Third is finding a hidden immunity idol, not an advantage, just a hidden immunity idol. Fourth is they receive 10 plus votes. This is over the course of the season. So this is one that accumulates. Fifth is they receive less than 5 votes. And I'm not sure if does that apply to the final tribal council or no?
No. So the 10 plus votes and the final tribal council don't apply, or the 10 plus votes and the 5 or less votes don't apply to tribal council. But it does count votes negated by an idol. So let's say Bradley plays an idol and he gets 5 votes that time. He has 5 votes, even though technically he doesn't have 5 votes against him.
Number 6 wins an individual immunity. Number 7 is they have the most confessionals in the premiere I'm going to assume this is a 2-hour episode. Are we going to wrap that up? Okay.
So it's whatever happens that night. It's whatever happens that night.
Most confessionals in the premiere. Then someone gets blindfolded. This is one that is always pretty difficult. Phil has never, ever won it. It's usually in the tribal part, they get blindfolded. If you pick someone who gets blindfolded, then you might as well just win the prop bet game. Next up is this person makes the jury. Next one is pretty good. This one is someone who hugs Jeff. And this doesn't happen often, but when it does, we freak out.
Troyzan did it and couldn't understand why we loved him so much for it.
Yeah, we had 2 in one season, which was just absolutely bananas.
And then last year it was Lauren's sister, which doesn't count for Lauren, but Lauren's sister did hug Jeff.
I know, that was things we never would have guessed.
Yeah.
Next up, we have sits out 3 times. That could be you sit out in a team challenge, you sit out when Jeff bribes you with hamburgers. Could be either of those. Next, we have 10 confessionals. Literally anything. Next is 10 confessionals in a single episode. Then I write it down as hashtag. So I forget what Ben said. He said he said something Doc.
Ben Bomb.
Ben Bomb. Yeah, Ben Bomb's a great example. Actually, no, did he? Yeah, he did say that.
He did say Ben. Here's a Ben Bomb. Boom.
Yeah, they have to say the phrase. It can't be like I do something and then they make that a hashtag. I have to be the one to actually say it. Then next one is your torch gets snuffed and there's no words before that. So between me getting voted out and Jeff snuffing my torch, I have to say absolutely nothing. After my torch is snuffed, I can freak out. But in that time period, they cannot say anything.
Yeah, it makes it way easier because we used to not have an ending for it. It used to just be like, well, did they say a word? I don't know. Did they say a word? And we would just be like, there needs to be an end. Once the torch is snuffed, they can talk all they want.
Exactly.
Next up, it used to be bad.
Yeah. And yeah, glad there's like a time period now. Next, we have 1+ hour in a challenge, which actually hasn't happened in a little bit, which I was a little surprised about. After that, we have someone attends 10+ tribals. This is This is tribal, moving on to individual, as long as they attend 10+ tribal. Clear for this?
But they have to be in the game. It's not jury.
Oh, true. Yes. Yeah, you have to be.
So if you're on the jury and you're the first member of the jury, you go to every tribal council. After that, you're not in the game, so that doesn't count. It has to be like, if somebody goes to final 3, that's okay. But if somebody, gets voted out first, they don't count. So
then for number 17, they have a confessional in every single episode that they're in. So if they're voted out first, as long as they have a confessional in the premiere, they're fine. If they make it to the end, they have to have a confessional in every single episode. That's always a tough one to get. Number 17 is someone says the episode title. That was number 18. Number 19, these are our 2 that we added just for Ghost Island. So number 19 is this person goes to Ghost Island. We're assuming that they're sent there or they choose to go there. However, they spend time on Ghost Island. That's going to count. And then the last one, this one's a little more specific. You have to correctly reference an item from Ghost Island. And I kind of like this one because I don't really know how it's going to play out. Maybe someone brings back one of James's idols and someone pops up and they're like, oh my gosh, that's James's idol. That's going to count. I don't really know how it's going to work out, but I think it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like they found it. Like Jacob could find the idol and then Morgan could say, oh, that's James's idol. And Jacob could also say, yeah, that's James's idol. As long as on screen they say that is so-and-so's idol or that is so-and-so or, whatever. As long as they say that is this idol. It can't just be them agreeing like, yeah, that's, oh, yeah. No, it has to be like they have to be the one who initiates it. It can't be like Jacob says that's James's idol and then Angela goes, is it? Oh, yeah, that is. Like they have to be like the one.
Yeah. And if they specifically say it's
crying,
but yeah, you have to hear it through the tears. Or we could put a little side bet that's like if they guess that it's Andrea's final 7 idol, then they might as well win because Phil and I were like, what does that even look like? And I'd honestly be pretty impressed if anybody could. Exactly. So that's our 20 prop bets, and we're just going to go through, give another quick explanation of the prop bet, and we'll go through with who we think is going to get it, why they're going to get it, and how confident we are about it.
Yes, and so when you're entering yours, you're going to put in the order that we're doing it here. Just one, whoever, how many points. Just in the order we're doing it on this podcast. It's the same order in the prop bet thing below. So there's no confusion. It's just that's the order.
Yes. Please follow the order. Please do not repeat anyone. We were really adamant about this with the boot list, so we'll do the same with this. Please, please, please do not repeat anyone, and please put a number next to their names, because I'm not going to guess how confident you are in that, because everyone views that differently. So please, please, please do that, because I don't know how else I'll be able to keep track.
All right. So, Alexa,
cool.
Why don't you start off considering – go ahead, Alexa. Why don't you go first?
Okay. I will go first. So for the winner, that's our first pick. So like I said, I think in the boot list, I had Wendell as my winner. And like I said earlier, I'm pretty unsure of who my winner pick is, but I was watching a bunch of ET Canada videos before this one. He was the first one I saw. I was raving about him from the beginning at the first thing of our cast assessment. I have Brendan as the winner, and I put him with a confidence level of 3. So I'm throwing it all at the wall. I'm chucking the ball from half court, and I like him. And I know last year Adam Klein, he said, how can you pick Desi? She's so obvious. She's such an obvious winner. And when I first saw Brendan, I was like, this guy is the obvious winner. He's nice. He's soft-spoken. He's a family guy. He's a gym teacher. He's athletic. He even says he was born to play Survivor. This game was made for people like him. And yes, he's obvious. But if you look at this cast, they're all so diverse in terms of their talents, in terms of what drives them, in terms of what they want out of the game. And so I think that makes him a little less obvious. This is a season full of really, really strong athletic people. This is a season with people who are playing for their families. This is a season of super fans. Because everyone has so many different aspects to them, I think he can hide back a little bit. He's not the strongest guy out there. He definitely gives off a leader vibe. He definitely is one of the quote unquote older people on this season. But I think he's not the superlative of anything. And that's a very, very good thing. I put him kind of mid-merge in my boot list because I think that when people see him, or when they get to the individual part, they're going to say, okay, he's likable and perfect. We need to get rid of him. But I like him. I was drawn to him immediately, and I'm going to pick him as my winner. Phil, I would love to hear who you have as your winner.
All right, so my winner pick for the entire season is going to be Brendan. I'm going to go out and say that now. I knew Alexa was going Brendan, and I had Brendan in there. But for the fun of the game, I'm going to change up my prop bet. Just for the fun of the game.
Good.
Brendan is my winner pick. I'm going out there and I'm saying it. I know the best part is the reason that I knew that Alexa had put Brendan is because when I was typing in the boot list, I was listening to our boot list podcast. I guess that's masochism. I don't know. But as I was doing it, I was like, all right, what do I say? I want to kind of remember what I said about each of these people, because now I'm going to pick a winner, and I hadn't picked a winner, and I knew I hadn't picked a winner in the bootless game. And I literally say Brendan can't win the game in the podcast. Say it straight up when I put him at 4th. I say Brendan can't win the game. Well, I changed my mind very quickly. I think Brendan can win the game. I am putting him as my winner pick. Reading some of the Hollywood Reporter stuff, they all just think he's a leader. They all think he's a good guy. I mean, they don't even speak to the guy, and they just think he's a good guy. It's like they're saying they think he's trustworthy just because he seems like he's playing by the rules, and it's yeah, I guess he is.
Oh, he's a nice
dude. Brendan's my winner pick. I want to see if there's what's that look like. I just going okay. So Brendan was the winner pick.
I'm curious to see where you flip him.
Well, just because, and here's something interesting. If you think about it, just because it's an obvious winner doesn't necessarily mean they don't win. Mike Holloway was a pretty obvious winner, and he won the game. Yeah. He was a guy who I know when Will and I Yule was an obvious winner. When Will and I did our fantasy picks that year, Mike Holloway almost went on the Phantom Tribe because both of us were this guy is so obviously good at this game that he's going to get voted out. We thought he was going early. I picked him as the last pick in our fantasy draft that year, and he goes on and wins the game. So just because they're obvious, Ben just won last year. A Marine, you know what I mean? Come on. So even though this one's doubled, and I really think it's going to be Brendan, I'm going to give this one to Alexa. I'm going to let her take it.
Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome. So I'm going to steal your boot list winner, and I'm going to put Wendell. Because if he stinks at the boot, if he ends up winning the game, at least only my boot list is screwed, and I'm putting Wendell with 3 points. I really do like Wendell. I think I had him low in the bootless game, kind of because
you had him fairly low. Yeah,
I think he's obvious. I really do. I think he's somebody who's very obvious. Where it's like, man, Wendell. Like I said it in the bootless thing. I was like, man, he's got a smile that you just want to give him $1 million, and I still believe that. But maybe he can overcome it. You stole Brendan, so I'm gonna put Wendell there. He was my second pick, kind of. So I give 3 points on it, and all right, yeah. So hopefully Wendell wins, and then. And
then we all win. Yeah, then we both win. Yeah. I know. I wanted to pick. I assumed that you were going to pick Brendan because I know we both are super high on him. But I definitely wanted to put him as winner of this because maybe I'll pick my winner pick will be neither Wendell nor Brendan. So no matter what, I win something because I'm not very good at winning these games, as anyone has probably picked up since I've been doing this for about a year.
Yes.
Right. So I'm gonna move on to #blindside. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so for number 2, this is #blindside. So this person gets voted out and the screen gets slapped with a #blindside. Sometimes this happens when it isn't like a real blindside. I feel like sometimes I throw it there just to give it a little more pizzazz. But I actually have Chris at this one. And I was pretty unsure of where to put him. But the more and more I read about him and the more videos of him I watch, I'm actually really liking Chris. And I said this in the boot list. I was like, he's going to be typecast. He's this, that, and the other thing. But he's really, really smart. And he really knows this game. He has some really cool ideas for what he wants to do, how he wants to play the game. Some that I haven't really heard of before. And he knows how he's perceived. He knows what he's good at. I think he knows what he's not very good at. And so, but at the end of the day, he is very confident. He's very confident in himself. He's extremely confident what he is good at. And people who are confident are going to get blindsided because the second you're confident in this game, the second that you think you're sitting pretty, you're getting out of it. This happened with Jessica. She said, I'm the queen bee. She went home 20 minutes later. This happens all the time. And he's another one who, if you're going to get rid of him in the tribal version or in the tribal section of the game, that's surprising because why do you vote out the muscle at that point? If he's getting voted out at the merge, that's surprising. Why is he your merge vote? If he's getting voted out in the individual portion, people might not think he's playing so strategic, so he'll be surprised then. So I think anytime he goes home could be surprising for both him and the viewer. And for that reason, I have him going with the #blindside. I have it as a confidence level of 2. So I don't feel strongly about it either way. But kind of the point that I'm driving home is why do you get rid of Chris? Because he may not, if he's annoying people, then he might not know that. If he's doing well in challenges, why do you get rid of him? So that's kind of my reasoning for it.
Yeah, I put Michael there. I feel like
we keep trading him.
Poor Michael. Like I've been so hard on Michael this whole preseason. I put Michael. I put 2 points on it. Michael is one of the most confident guys out there, and I just feel like because he's the youngest, I really think that it's going to catch up to him. So I put Michael there. I put with 2 points on it. It's crazy that we ended up going Michael and Chris here again, just like we did in the boot list. We were just talking about how Michael and Chris were the two who were going to, they're going to go 15 and 17. I think we put them in the exact same spots. It's weird that we're doing that, but I guess we really believe it. So I put Michael there. I just feel like I see what you're saying about Chris, but like I said, I think Michael is the more confident version. And seriously, like Michael could come out and be a villain, maybe, and maybe not. But I feel like if Chris's story with the MS, with his mom with MS comes out, he probably won't get slapped at the #blindside. Because if you realize the people that they've started throwing #blindside on are these people who are kind of like the more villainous type, or the people who are just like been so in their head the entire time. Who was #blindsided last year? Do we even remember?
You know what? I actually have the season 35 prop bet up right here. So if you want to stall for a couple seconds.
Yeah, stall for a couple seconds because I want to see who was #blindsided last year. And maybe I'm completely wrong. But I just feel like #blindside doesn't come up as often as it used to. And it almost comes up in like random boot episodes now.
Ooh, JP.
See, JP was a #blindside. Was he really a #blindside?
JP and Rourke.
JP and Rourke. And like
I think JP
Rourke was a
100% of that was a huge blindside.
But it was also JP's boot episode, and I think that's why they made it a #blindside. He wasn't like the biggest character on the show. Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh well, let's spice up his boot and we can throw the hashtag blindside so that when people start tweeting about hashtag blindside, they're like, and then it was JP. And Rourke also, the two most underedited people on the season. So maybe Michael comes out here and very much like Will Wall doesn't get much screen time. So they just slap a hashtag blindside on there because he didn't have much going on. I don't know.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from on that.
That two of the most underrated.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this, and I think the JP one, that one, I get that more, it being a hashtag blindside, because as the viewers, we didn't know it was JP. We thought it was Chrissy or Ryan. With the Rourke one, at least her name was floating around there. So I kind of get behind the JP one more than the Rourke one. But you make a good point. They're both kind of the quiet ones, and they're two of the boots where we were like, huh? Like what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
It's blindsiding the audience more than blindsiding the person, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so number 3 is find a hidden immunity idol. This isn't just an advantage. It has to be a hidden immunity idol. It can't just be, oh, they got an extra vote or something like that. It has to be a hidden immunity idol. I put Bradley for this, and I put 2 on it. I was going to put Dominic.
Oh, no.
I was going to put Dominic, but then I have Dominic like way down further for something else. Obviously, because I'm like going all in on the Dominic at Ghost Island thing. So I put Bradley here. I put 2 points on it. I feel like he's going to be looking, and like the types of people who I think are going to be looking for idols, I really liked for other stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of this cast. The thing is, like, I feel like there's like 12 to 15 people on this cast who fit so many, and then there's like 5 people on this cast who don't really fit. And so like I was having a really hard time with like the people who fit everything, because I was like, man, like I almost put Kellyn as my winner pick, and then I was like, but man, like I like Kellyn for this other thing, and then it was like, well, I could put Donathan for my winner pick. I'm like, is he really going to win, or does he have a better chance at getting this? So like Bradley was one of those guys where it's like he could go to Ghost Island, he could get an episode title, he could get a hashtag, because like, come on, like he seems like he's just going to be throwing stuff at everybody. So like, who knows? He could get 10 plus confessionals an episode. But I was like, finding an idol, a lot of people are doing it, and I feel like he's probably got a good chance at finding one at some point, because I feel like he's going to be somebody who's probably going to be in trouble at some point in this game, and I know he really loves the game. So I'm going to say yes, he's going to find an idol, and I'm going to put 2 on it and probably be wrong, but let's see.
Call it a day. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I completely agree on the, like, some people fit everything and a handful of people didn't fit anything. But I kind of had the opposite issue. The people who I figured could hit everything, I just spread them out. And then the 5 that I didn't know what to do with, I was just staring at it, and I just had the 5 remaining prop bets. And I was like, well, this seems legit, and just kind of whipped it up. But for this one, finding a hidden immunity idol, this one's, I feel like this has probably changed over the past few seasons, and you'd be able to correct me on this. But because there are so many idols now, there are a lot of people who could find them. So this was one that I found to be pretty interchangeable. But I ended up putting Jenna here. And she was someone who I actually didn't really know where to put Jenna. I put her there with a confidence level of 2. And I actually just watched her ET Canada video right before we went live. And I mean, her whole thing is, I'm going to come out guns a-blazing. She said that her getting picked to be on this game was destiny. She said, I've been so bored. I've been so, monotonous. And this is something crazy. This is something different that fell into my lap. And I think she's gonna come out hot. And whether or not people appreciate that, because I know she's the one who's saying, if I don't piss off 10 people and I didn't play right, that's the kind of person who's digging around for idols. That's the kind of person who's waking up in the middle of the night to dig under the shelter looking for an idol. I think a lot of people are going to be looking. So I don't necessarily think that her looking for an idol is setting her apart from anybody else. But I think she'll probably need one. She's looking to play a long game, and an idol absolutely helps that. So I got Jenna finding a hidden immunity idol.
Okay. Jenna was one of those people I didn't really know where to put her. So where I ended up putting her, it was tough. Jenna was tough. Another one who was tough was Gonzalez. And for number 4, it's get 10 plus votes in the game. So this could be negated by idol. This could be anything. Originally, I actually had Bradley here.
I almost put him there too.
I had him there, and then I changed it to Gonzalez. And the reason I changed it to Gonzalez is because I'm looking at, if you look at the way that tribe starts off, I could see her getting maybe 4 votes in a 6-4 vote or something like that. Or maybe she's the one who the person who gets voted out first thinks is the target. So let's say Libby goes first. Maybe she thinks Gonzalez is the target. And then maybe Gonzalez picks up votes here, picks up votes there because they think that it's a safe vote or something like that. And I don't know how she's going to end up playing the game. But let's say that's what they're doing. She could also be somebody who at the merge is in a bit in the smaller alliance, and people have learned now and said, hey, they're going to think she didn't want to get her hands dirty, but she's the one we need to give the idol to. And then she negates a bunch of votes with that. I just feel like she's somebody whose name is going to come up a lot, even if she's only in the game for a short amount of time. So I think that over time, I think she's going to accumulate the amount. And while I was doing the boot list, people have Gonzalez very high. So I think I'm in the minority thinking that Gonzalez wasn't going to hit the merge.
I think
people
that's
have her
probably
very high. She's a very
when you and I put and this is like not to toot our own horns, but I'm about to do that. When you and I have people really, really high, like last year, Allie and Desi were like everyone's winner picks. So yeah. I think I had her at like 2 or 3. So that could like have something to do with it. Because I didn't know, like, I still don't really know what to do with her.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And that's why it kind of ended up, Gonzalez was one of the people where I was like, I don't necessarily see her as somebody winning immunity. I kind of had her for blindfolded, but then there was somebody else who I was like I could see Gonzalez going deeper and maybe making it to final 6, final 7, and she got votes to get there. So I could have put her for blindfolded, but then I was like, well, I want to try to find somebody who's definitely not going to hit the merge or something like that, or somebody who I'm starting to feel differently about, and maybe like they're never going to be somebody who's the caller. You know what I mean? So, but I ended up going Gonzalez here with getting 10 or more votes.
Okay. So. So getting, how many confidence points did you have with her?
I put just 1 on it.
Okay, cool.
Because also
each other on the confidence points.
Not many people get 10 plus votes. Doesn't happen a lot. I think there's only like 4 or 5 people who get it.
For the viewers, that's another thing to consider. It's one thing to think about how confident you are in the person, but how confident you are in the prop bet. Like blindfold is really, really hard. Or like correctly referencing a Ghost Island artifact, like I don't know, that might not even be a thing. So that's important to consider too. So for me, I heard your argument with Gonzalez where there's 7 different ways that this could happen to her. And I feel the same way about Des. And so this is where I put Des. She was someone I was, not really sure where to put her. And same as you, I put a confidence level of 1, just because this could happen. This could happen on the premiere because I'm assuming it's 2 tribal councils. This could not happen until the finale. So I don't know where Des gets voted out. I don't know how far Des goes. So I feel like this is a good one to put her. She has a really, really good story. She is also someone who, I don't know if she's going to actively lie about her age, but I was reading something where she said she might even lie about having kids. Like she could lie about anything. And she like started crying when she was talking about these kids that she doesn't have. Like I got to find the article because it was freaking insane. I was like, wow, you are crying about your baby Christina who doesn't exist and I'm getting teared up. Like you're really good at this. But then on the flip side, I'm sure she's very hardened and she is only 21 years old and she could rub some people the wrong way. So she could get voted out second person because she bothers people. She could make it to the very end because she has an amazing story. She's athletic. She's independent. She has played the real life version of Survivor. And she's another one who she could just keep racking up the votes because even if she makes it far, she could bother some people. She could get some votes because she has a good story. And that could accumulate because she makes it very far. So she's someone who her storyline can go so many different ways. And for that reason, I'm giving her a lot of votes.
Yeah, and I think Des could get a lot of votes. I had a trouble with Des too, and I ended up putting Des somewhere else with only 1 point. But yeah, I could see Des definitely getting a lot of votes in this game for many reasons, and I feel like that's kind of the thing with this one is you're looking for somebody who can get the votes for many reasons. And Gonzalez, I think, is somebody who, if she gets deep in the game, it's probably because she's surprised a lot of people and came out and really caught them off guard, and now she's winning. So they would try to vote her out because she's doing really well, but she's also somebody who can try to be voted out early because she might not fit in right away. So if she can just survive 1 or 2 of those tribals, I think that she's somebody who could pick up a lot of votes. And then on the other hand, we have, you will get 5 or less votes. So this isn't just less than 5. If you get 5 votes, it's fine. You win this one.
Oh, true.
So it's get 5 or less votes. And this one's hard this season because they start on the big tribes. So normally if they start on the small tribes, the first person voted out hits this. You're fine. Katrina hit this last year. It was 5-1. Katrina would have won this for you. I went Libby here. And I think Libby goes I think Libby goes early, so I put her here. But I also think that she's on the better tribe. So if they do switch to 3 tribes at 18, then Libby will go to a smaller tribe and be voted out that way. Because I think that the original tribe, I think that Purple, which I forget what the name of the tribe is, I think they have more of a chance to lose the first 2. So I think Libby has a chance to survive that. And if Libby survives that and then gets voted out, then she's getting less votes. And also Libby seems like somebody who's not going to be super threatening if she hits the merge, where they're going to be like, we need to get rid of her right now. So maybe if she hits the merge, she doesn't have any votes, and then they don't vote her out till the very end. So I throw Libby here at 5 or less votes with only 1 point.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to go 2 to 3 tribes, or just do 2 tribes merge. Because we really liked how it went last season. I know that started off with 3 tribes rather than starting off with 2, but it worked out really well when they did 3 and 3. And it was cool because it made the merge happen, and like half the people had never even met before. And that's not like really the case usually. So yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was thinking that they're probably going to go 2 tribes to 2 tribes, but you bring up a good point with them moving to 3. I actually put James for this one, and James was another one where I had him floating around everywhere. I gave this only a confidence level of 1, same as you, and I have him there for the reason that I think he's going to get super, super far. He reminds me of Brendan in that he could be obvious on any other season, but I don't think he's too obvious on this one. Everyone's first impressions of him are, oh, he's smart. Oh, he probably went to a really good school, which is true. But no one's saying, I got to get rid of this guy right now. Like this guy, he's going to lead my tribe. So I think he's someone who could control the game from not the bottom of his alliance, but not seem like the leader. And then he gets to the final 6 and they're like, wait a second, this guy's perfect. He's, extremely well-spoken. He's got to go. So I'm putting all of my eggs in the he makes it far and gets voted out with like 2 votes basket. But again, I'm putting that a confidence level of 1 because I have no idea what I'm talking about. So whatever.
I actually did this. I actually had Terry for this one back when they did second chances. And I said the same thing you just said about James, where it was, they're not going to want to vote him out early. But once they hit the merge, he could all of a sudden, it's like, wait a second, how is Terry still in this game? So I kind of figured he would get that. And then I ended up winning it because he ended up going home with 0 votes. For a completely different reason, obviously. Not the way we wanted to see Terry go out at all. But I had the same reasoning for Terry as you do with James. I feel like Libby could also be in that same boat where she just either gets the votes on the small tribe or they get rid of Libby when they want to get rid of Libby.
Yeah. She was someone who I wasn't really sure where to put her either, which I know every single prop bet, we're like, I don't know if they belong here. So again,
no, I do.
Number
6. Number 6, I know. So number 6, it's win individual immunity, and I put James here, and I put 2 on it because James is incredibly smart. He's a Division I athlete, and I think that if it's a puzzle, James could win it, and I think that if it's a more physical challenge, James could win it. So I really think that James at least walks out of here winning 1 challenge, 1 immunity challenge before all is said and done, because even when they hit the merge, I don't think he's going to be everybody's number 1 target. Like you said, he probably gets a little bit deeper into the merge. So I think James wins an individual immunity, and I put 2 on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good choice. I think I had him floating around in there too. For this one, there are a lot of different people because I can go back and check last year's prop bets, but I can't imagine many people put Chrissy at it, and she won it 4 times. So this is one where it's not always the alpha males or the puzzle people. There's a lot of different people who can win these. So for this one, I actually picked Morgan, and I put her there with confidence level of 2. I think also same as you. We've been following each other's lead on that. And she was someone who I was pretty unsure about. I was listening to our old previous podcast, and I really didn't know what to do with her. But I have her going. So now I get how she can make the merge. I see a path for her there. And when it comes to the individual challenges, I'm linking her to Ashley, and I'm gonna admit this is strictly because they're both like water people. But Morgan, and I'm putting that out there before someone else says it about me. The thing is, she's got to be an incredible swimmer. She probably has really good balance. She's tall. She's athletic. I'm sure she has some kind of speed with her. Puzzle-wise, I don't know. I have no reason to believe that she would be good or bad at puzzles. But she's someone who I can imagine has a lot of balance and has a lot of stamina, especially in her legs. And that's someone who normally would do pretty well in an individual challenge, especially early on in the merge. And I didn't have her going particularly far. I had her going, I think, at the merge, maybe earlier. So I think in that first merge challenge, that one's always, something balance oriented. And I think she could excel at that.
Yeah, and the thing is, the hard part about this one is the person has to make the merge. That's what makes it even harder. Is it's like if they don't make the merge, then then it was worthless anyway because there's no individual immunities beforehand. So, but I do see what you're saying with Morgan there. I just feel like with James, he's somebody who's going to make the merge, and he's also somebody if everything ends with a puzzle, he went to Harvard, so I'll put my money on him. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just feel like for me, that's what this was like. When I was feeling this, I was like, James. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, I get where you're coming from puzzle-wise, but I think this could be one, and maybe this is because I was just, I forget like which podcast I was re-listening to, but because this is a season that's going to have so many callbacks to older seasons, a lot of the puzzles could be more geared towards which, I forget which season had it, but like which logo is this? Which season was this logo in? Or kind of like Heroes, Healers, Hustlers, where they had to spin that thing with all the different islands on it. I think there's going to be a lot of callbacks to older seasons. And I'm not saying that this would like put Morgan at an advantage over James, but I think the puzzle portion could be more geared towards your super fans rather than your like overall incredibly intelligent people. That's something I kind of just thought.
Which makes sense. That totally makes sense. I get what you're saying there. All right, so number 7 is this person will have the most confessionals in the premiere. That's premiere night. That's not just the first hour. That is all of February 28th. However many confessionals that person gets while it's on TV. This person, we used to double this one. We don't double it anymore. But we used to double it. For this one, this is where I put Des. I put her. I was having a hard time. I was having a hard time putting Des anywhere. But the more that I hear Des talk, I feel like she's got so much of a story that she's on the tribe that I feel like is going to lose. And I feel like her name could easily come up because she doesn't necessarily look like a Survivor winner. She doesn't look like somebody who ever really makes it deep into Survivor. But I think she has such a story that they're going to try to push her onto us early. And if she does make it deep, they're going to want you to know about Des early. It's the same way Carolyn finishes second place on her season. She disappears for like 5 episodes, but she had the most confessionals in the premiere. So I feel like Des has a good chance. I only put 1 on it, but I just feel like there's a really good chance it could happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they'll probably want to like show off her bathing suit too, which I cannot
exactly.
Like that's a bathing suit that's like, even if I don't know what she's saying, but I'm just gonna stare at it. I get where you're coming from on her. For this one, I actually thought we were gonna have the same person. I have Donathan for this one, and I have him at a confidence level of 2. I mean, this guy, I watched his video and I was like, this guy is freaking awesome. Like he's got an accent. I only understand 1 out of 5 words that he says. So maybe he's not like the best person to put in the, have a ton of in the premiere, but he's got a really cool story too. I mean, I guess that's a kind of a good reason for why we picked the people that we did. He's someone who I think is going to make it far. And I remember last year, like Desi didn't say anything in the premiere. And I was like, all right, well, there goes my winner pick. He's someone who's, no matter where he goes, where he gets booted or doesn't get booted, he's going to be a very, very large presence. And that's someone who you want a strong foundation for him. And when we have a 2-hour episode, his tribe may not win or may not lose that first immunity challenge, but they very well could lose the second one. I mean, we were really confident that the heroes were going to run the table, and that obviously didn't really happen. So he's someone that was actually one of the first ones that I placed. I was pretty confident that he was going to be the star of the premiere.
My whole thing was because we don't double the premiere one anymore, I feel like Donathan can hit so many things that I didn't want to put him here. Because if he doesn't hit it in the premiere, then it's like, damn, Donathan's going to hit so many things and I'm going to be so screwed. I feel like Donathan's going to get an episode title. I feel like Donathan's going to, Donathan has a chance to get 10 plus confessionals in an episode. He can make the jury. He'd get a confessional in every episode he's in. He'd go to 10 tribal councils. Like, I feel like he's going to he could hug Jeff Probst. But I just feel like I wanted to put him in something that I was like 99% confident in as opposed to something that I was like 80% confident in. And that was only going to happen once. Like the confessionals in the premiere is only going to happen once. So done. I'm more confident that somebody like Des might not last as long as Donathan. And because she doesn't last as long as Donathan, she gets a lot of confessionals in the premiere, but then she doesn't get like a 10+ episode confessional. She doesn't get a chance for a hashtag. She doesn't get a chance for an episode title because she just went too early. Mm-hmm. So that's why
that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I didn't consider that. So I hope I'm right.
Yeah, well, here you go. So the next one is blindfolded.
Yeah, speaking of things that we don't get right.
I've never gotten it right. We've been doing this since Worlds Apart. I've never once gotten it right. Oh, no, we didn't do it in Worlds Apart. We did it in it was the second season we did it. But I never once have gotten this right. We haven't done it since Second Chance because we don't want to do a boot list for Second Chance because we figured it was spoiled. So that was the first time we did prop bet. And since Survivor season 31, I have not gotten this right. We're going into 36. It's so sad. I had Michelle Schubert being the caller. Like, what? Like, what is that? I had Monica. I think Monica sat out. Like, what is this that I'm living in? So
and
for
half
this
the time
one,
it doesn't happen.
Half the time it doesn't happen. So for this one, I put Laurel. I literally didn't know where to put Laurel, and there were people that I liked for everything better than I liked Laurel for that. So I'm going to put Laurel here. Can she be the first person to actually get blindfolded for Phil? That's 1 point, because if I put anything more than 1, I'm just lying to myself. So 1 point.
Yeah, anyone who puts more than 1 point on the blindfold is I don't know. Well, I almost did that on the first time, and Will like eviscerated me for it, and correctly.
Will eviscerated you for putting 1 point, because like Will's argument, and I think this is a good argument from Will.
How do you remember
his argument
that?
is because I remember his argument. His argument, because he's made the argument to me before. The argument is, if they do a challenge and it's blindfolded, you're probably getting close to 10 people blindfolded. If there's a blindfold challenge.
Oh, you are right.
Which means half the cast is going to be blindfolded. But because I always get it wrong, I just assume the person I'm putting is a definite no. So I'm putting 1 on Laurel.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I get his argument, but I guess now that I've done it a couple times, just the fact that it half the time the challenge doesn't even happen, that it's almost kind of like it's almost a throwaway. But I'm not using this person as a throwaway. I did put her at a confidence point of number 1, and I put Libby here. She was one who I was a little unsure of, and we've kind of talked about how there are a lot of athletic girls on this season. So you like this, not much dead weight, male or female, floating around this season. They're all very athletic. They're all very accomplished. I don't know. I don't see her being the caller. I was watching her ET Canada video, and she is fairly soft-spoken. I'm sure if she wants to scream, she absolutely can. But she's someone who I don't really know if she's going to make the merge, so she's a good person to place here. And she's small. Like, she does Tough Mudders. I've done a Tough Mudder once, and now I can't stop talking about it. Like, a lot of times you have to crawl under things, and you have to like jump over things, and doing it blindfolded. Like, she's someone who I think could excel at that because she's small and she can sneak in and out of places. So I got her there. I don't even know.
Yeah, Libby, here's my thing with Libby. If I put Libby there, that'd be the challenge she sits out. It's like if I would have put Hannah there, of course Hannah sat out.
Right.
You know, so I put Michelle, and somehow Michelle is the caller on that tribe. And I was like, what do you mean Michelle's the caller?
Yeah, so I'm glad you didn't pick Libby, because that means that I very well could get it right.
You could very well get it. But for the same reasoning that you're supposed to put 3 points on blindfold, this next one you should definitely put 3 points on. At least I feel like I've always put 3 points on. I think I've gotten it right every time except for Woo. I put Woo there. So it's will make the jury. And this one, I mean, you're going to have 8 people, 9 people on the jury. So like you want to put 3 points on it, because if you get it, you don't want to miss out on those, but you also want to make sure you're a person that you get it. And after doing the boot list and saying this person would not make the merge, I put Jenna with 3 points. So
wow.
I think I had her 16th in the boot list.
Yeah, we're contradicting our boot lists quite a bit, and we're just halfway through the prop bet right now.
Well, it's to make sure that, like, you know, if I lose the boot list, at least I'm still in it for the prop bet.
Cover the bases. Gotta cover the bases.
You know? So yeah, I put Jenna.
Do you want to go into why you put her? Because I don't have much reason for that person.
Well, I think the reason I put Jenna there is because I don't see Jenna being a screen hog. I don't see her being a Donathan, a Dez, a Dominic, even like a Morgan. I feel like Morgan. Yeah, I know, right? I don't know how that happened. I feel like Morgan could be a screen hog. She could get a lot. Bradley, like Stephanie Johnson. These are people that I really feel like you're going to hear a lot from. And somebody like Jenna might not necessarily get the most screen time, so I didn't want to put her for like an episode title or a hashtag, which a lot of people get. But if she makes it deep, Jeff would probably never have a hashtag. Jeff would probably never had that. And I'm not saying, like, I don't want to just instantly have everybody be like, you think Jenna's going to be Jeffrey, but like, I always try to think of it in that way. Like, if it's like a worst case scenario, but this person still gets 7th place, what are they going to actually get? And I think putting her as make the jury is more of like a safety thing. Cause it's like Donathan's probably going to make the jury because I don't see them letting him get to the final 3, but he could do so many other things. Why would I want to use just making the jury with him? So I'm going to go and I put Jenna for 3. Okay.
So I'm going to completely not listen to what you just said about putting a confidence level of 3 on this, because I put a confidence level of 2 on this guy. I put Michael here. And he's someone who I think in my boot list, I had him going right before the jury or right before the merge, or going out right around the merge. But the thing is, he's extremely confident. He's very young. He works in real estate in LA. Like he very well could be the first or second person going home. I could 110% see that. But I'm watching his videos and he does have a sense of calmness about him. And he does seem a bit like an old soul. Like I can't imagine him being just this like partying college kid. Like I don't see that in him. I see that more in like Chris, I guess. But he's someone who I think if he lays low at the beginning, just does well in the challenges, doesn't blow it up early, he's someone who they'll bring probably for a number, because that body type is not who you want to bring into an individual portion of the game. And so let's say he loses that first individual immunity challenge to Morgan or to James, then you got to get rid of him, because then he's a big muscular guy who you chose to leave around. So I have him going early merge, but that'll put him on the jury.
Yeah, and that's where Cole and JP both went last year. And I don't think you're wrong with Michael. I just feel like I put Michael lower in my in my boot list. I had him back at 17. I didn't want to put Michael on the jury just because I didn't know if Michael was actually going to make it to that point. I feel like either Michael or Chris.
I had to convince myself of that.
Yeah, I feel like Michael or Chris aren't going to make it to that point, so I didn't want to put either of them for this. So I wanted to put somebody who like could get there, and I think actually has a better chance to get there, just because even the way that this game is set up this season, it seems like it's set up for they're trying to make the providers a little bit more important, but you're also doing it on a season that is full of the super fans. So I feel like the super fans might say, well, forget it, let's just get rid of him anyway. And so I feel like somebody like Michael has a hard time even making it to that point. Now, granted, I've been super hard on Michael this whole preseason in terms of like where I think he's going to land. I've pretty much given him no shot. He definitely could do something in this game. He's got to land somewhere. It's just, at the beginning, before the game starts, you have to pick your favorites and your least favorites. And unfortunately, him and like Chelsea and Gonzalez for a brief point, they were like my punching bags. But here we go. I could see him making the jury. I really could. I just feel like he has a better chance to not make it to the merge than Chris. So I didn't want to put either of them there.
Yeah, I was pretty hard on him. I mean, we were pretty hard on him in a cast session, I think. And then for the boot list, I obviously didn't have him going very far. But the more I'm reading about him, like I know this 18, I don't know how long this him being 23 act is going to last. I don't know how he'll connect to people, because he is on like, I mean, both tribes are super fans, but he's not on the like, I don't know. I don't really see him connecting with his tribe that well. But to your point, this is a season where the providers are going to matter, because they're getting half the rice that they usually get. And I know that like very well could just be like, ooh, they're getting less rice, they're feeding them less. But I think that actually will have an effect on them, because even in Game Changers, they were hungry and they were getting freaking everything. So I think he will stay around for that. And I think he is a bit of an old soul. I think he has it in him to make it to the merge. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to have him make the jury and not win the game.
There you go. All right. Well, that's totally fair. All right. The next one's the best one.
Hugging Jeff.
Hugs Jeff Probst.
So
number 10.
Big ol' hug.
Are we going to have the same person for this?
No, because you already said who I picked.
Who'd you pick?
I picked Laurel with a confidence level of 1. Oh. This is one where you should either put 1 or 3. 1, because it might not happen. Or 3, because it could happen twice in a season, and somehow Aubrey one-upped Troyzan and how it happened.
Destroyed him.
Yeah,
but I will never forget when Troyzan.
Oh, go ahead.
When Troyzan turned and hugged Jeff, I audibly gasped. Like, it was unbelievable because we had to have it. We almost pulled it out before that season because it hadn't happened the 2 seasons before.
Yeah, and they were two completely different ones because we didn't really know if Troyzan had listened to us at that point or not. And his hug to Jeff was so awkward. It almost looked like he was like, wait a second, Phil and Alexa want me to do this. So then he hugged him, while Aubrey's was like, I forget which one it was. It was either a foot one or
she tackled him.
Yeah, it was one. She had to like stack them. And she dropped it and she was like, I need one thing, and it's my arms around Jeff. And she like speared him like WWE style. It was awesome. So there are many different ways you can hug Jeff. But anyways, I have Laurel doing this. And I know that I guess that's something that probably happens more in an individual portion because that's when we've seen that happen. And in my boot list, I actually had her going out fairly early. But she's huge on being a super fan. And this is one where I think a super fan has to be the one to do this. Because if I go on Survivor and I'm meant to be on The Amazing Race, I'm not gonna like go over and hug this guy. Like that's not really the point.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I mean, I think she could win, assuming she makes it to the individual portion. I think she could win an individual immunity challenge. And you're not gonna hug Jeff if you lose it. But I'm really jumping on that. She's a big time super fan. She's watched this show. You know, if I'm out there, I'm gonna give Jeff a big ol' hug. So I got her. I have her hugging Jeff.
So here's, I agree with like everything you said. It's based on like who's a huge fan, who's a super fan, like who listens to our podcast. I remember we kept saying like, dude, Troyzan must watch our show. And Troyzan started tweeting at us and was like, guys, I don't know why, like, I don't watch your show. And then when he came on the podcast, like, why was that a big deal? Like, why was that? But I do feel like some of these guys listen to us beforehand, and I would like to think that in the hypothetical group chat that we are convinced they have about us, that they're probably saying, who do you think is going to be the hug? And I wanted to put Donathan so bad. I really did. When Donathan's chugging off that boat, I feel like if they let him get close enough to Probst, he would give him a hug. I feel like if they let him get close enough, but I don't think they're going to let him get close enough that early because they always go to the mat and then they have to stop at the mat. I think Donathan's going to end up doing it at some point. I really wanted to put it, but I ended up going Stephanie Johnson, who I think is also very high capability to do it. I think she has a very high chance to do it. She's a fan of us. You know, she's a huge fan of Survivor. She's wanted to do this for so long. She is that bubbly, huge
she's
personality.
Just a
I feel like is just gonna run up and hug Jeff. So I'm high on Stephanie Johnson. I only put 1 point, but come on, Stephanie Johnson.
I like that. I think that's a good choice because she's just like she can hug everybody. Like she might just like hug the whole cast and then like end up with Jeff. I think that's a good choice. I like what you did with her. I'm happy where I put her too, but I think that's another good place to put her. All right, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, number 11. Okay, so this was I mean, this is the easiest one. It's who's going to sit out 3 times, and it might not even happen in a season, but this was the easiest one. It's always the easiest one. I think I've gotten this right every time. I had Hannah. I had Sari. Who do you think I put?
Oh, Kellyn.
Kellyn, 100%. Did you put Kellyn there too?
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Yeah.
I put 3 points on Kellyn. I almost, when I found out that you had Brendan as your winner pick, I was like, I'm going to put Kellyn as the winner pick. But then I was like, you know what? I'm putting her as sit out 3 times because all she's talked about is that she's not athletic.
Yeah.
Like that she's going to come out and be useless in the challenges. But I actually think that Kellyn's going to go deep. I know we saw back in Survivor, I think it was the second version of Fans vs. Favorites, where, what was her name? Oh my God, she was so bad at challenges. But she really wanted to play like the social game. I forget who that was.
Oh, a female wants to play the social game. I don't know.
Was it Allie? No, she really wanted to get into the strategy. She was a huge Survivor fan. But she was just so bad at challenges, they actually had to get rid of her. I feel like that could happen. That could happen to Kellyn, but I feel like Kellyn's going to overcome that. I put 3 points on it. I do think her tribe loses the first challenge, but if she ever gets on a tribe that wins, she's going to sit out. I feel like if there's food offered, she might just be like, guys, like, I'm not going to win this anyway. You know, I'm not that good at it. I'm going to go sit out. Like, I don't know. I feel like as much of a gamer as Kellyn is, and as much as she wants the experience, I feel like Kellyn sitting out 3 times there's a good likelihood of it. I really think so. So I'm going to go out. That's where I'm putting her.
We both have her going far, and so there's a lot of opportunities to sit out. But I've put her there, and I put her there with 3 points for the exact same reasons as you. And she is the one saying, "I'm weak. This is not my forte. This is not the part of the game that I'm good at." Obviously, she'll try because they can't sit her at 3 in a row. Like that's never going to happen. That's just not allowed to happen. So, and I see her where they're maybe even struggling to decide who to sit out. She'll say, guys, I can't swim. I can't lift things. I can't do whatever. Let me sit this one out. And that's a self-awareness that a lot of people on this cast don't have. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. She said it, so I don't feel bad saying it. I think Kellyn's going to sit out 3 times, and I have a decent amount of confidence in it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if they're saying it, hey, I got it right with Hannah, and I got it right with Suri. I'm, whatever. I'm like the king of picking this one right. Number 12.
Easy one.
This is who will have 10 or more confessionals in any episode out there. This could be the first episode too. This could be the premiere. It could be the 2-hour premiere. It could be the finale when, that's also 2 hours. Just we'll have 10 or more confessionals in an episode. We go based on what I think it's based on. I normally just go based on what Sucks says. Or Reddit. I know they put up their own too, and it normally is a replica of what Sucks has. So 10 or more in an episode. Finally, this is where I put Donathan.
Yeah, there's a good person.
Yeah, I feel like Donathan is somebody who I put 2 on it. I didn't put 3, but I feel like this is like if I'm looking at this cast, if there's one person that screams to me going to get a lot of screen time, it's Donathan. No matter if he goes first, no matter if he goes last, and I don't think he's going first. So I feel like he's going to have so many opportunities to get these huge episodes that I think eventually it's going to happen. Yeah,
I had Donathan floating around here. I had Stephanie floating around here. I had a lot of people. Like, I had Des here. But actually, I put someone who you had previously said, and you actually put him here for a minute. I have Bradley here. I think this guy is an easy narrator for however long he's around. He's going to be the narrator. He has a lot to say. He knows a lot about the game. He's extremely confident. That's a good narrator right there. But not only that, he's also going to be a target. He's going to be a villain. He wants to be the villain. This is someone who's always going to have the heat on him. And so his back's going to be against the wall fairly often. And he's a talker. I mean, he's a big time talker. And he said he's going to need to be better about forging relationships with people who he doesn't get along with or he doesn't have much in common with. I have that with a confidence level of 2, but I think there are going to be a lot of Bradley centered episodes, and that bodes really well for him talking a lot in them.
I honestly probably should have switched. I probably should have switched Donathan and Bradley. But I ended up I probably should have put Donathan as somebody to find an idol and have Bradley do this, because I really agree with you on Bradley here. But I don't know. I just feel like Donathan could seriously be like the second boot of the game and still get 10 confessionals in the first episode. Yeah. Like, Bradley's gonna have to go deep to get a lot of confessionals in an episode. He's gonna have to go really deep, whereas I don't think Donathan's going to have to go as deep as Bradley. So I see what you did there with Bradley, but I just ended up saying Donathan instead. I
mean, the thing with both of their choices, with both Donathan and Bradley, is that when they go home, it's going to be a loud, fiery, sinking ship. And that's an episode that has a ton of confessionals by that person in it. So I assumed you were going to pick Bradley for this, and we were going to agree on our third one. But Donathan, I was floating around with him being there too.
All right, so number 13, this is hashtag. We'll have a hashtag, and like we said, it has to be something that said Coconut Bandits wasn't a thing, although I think Tyson might have said Coconut Bandits at one point. But it has to be something they say, a Ben Bomb,
Cocoa Nuts.
What else is a good one? Cocoa Nuts. Yes, those are things that were said by the person, and when they said it on the screen, it said hashtag whatever was said. So I ended up going, and this doesn't really make sense to me. I ended up going Angela here. Mainly because I don't think Angela is long for this game, but I think she's going to have some good lines. So I didn't want to put her for 10 plus confessionals in any episode, because that would mean she'd have to stay around a long time. Over an hour in a challenge, I think she's got the physicality for it, but I don't know if she'll necessarily be there. Go to 10 plus tribals, I don't believe in it. Like a confessional in every episode she could do, but I put who I think is going to be the first boot, because they're going to get a confessional. So I went with Angela here really because I ran out of places that I thought she could fit, and I put her with just one on this. Really, hashtags haven't been appearing as much as they used to either.
Yeah, and they kind of happen more later on in the game, at least from what I've noticed. But I actually have her in a completely opposite scenario, so that's kind of funny. But how confident? Where did you put her on that?
1. I just put 1.
1. Okay, so I did quite the opposite. I put Gonzalez here, and I put her with a confidence level of 3. This is one that kind of to your point, it doesn't happen very often. But she's someone who I think she's going to say how she feels. And I think whether this happens early or it happens late, she's going to be pretty fiery. And that's someone who has a good hashtag. I can't imagine her as someone who can really hide how she feels. And I think that's good for a hashtag. Like, I think she's either going to say some funny stuff. She could say stuff that makes people mad. She's going to say something that evokes a feeling in someone. And that's a really good hashtag. And I have her going pretty far. So I put her at a confidence level 3 just because I think she has some longevity.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I agree that this could be Gonzalez. It was just more of like, when I was looking at Angela, I was like, okay, where else am I going to put her? And it really just came down to like, I don't know if she's going to, she could go further, but I just don't know how deep she's going to go. So I ended up just sticking with her here. But I like your pick of Gonzalez there. All right. 14 is we'll have their torch snuffed and say no words before they have their torch snuffed. So when they're voted out, between the time they're voted out and the time they get to Jeff, they don't act like Michaela. Instead, they just quietly walk away. Who will this person be? And for this one, I put Chris. And this one I put 3 points on. And the reason I put 3 points on this is because I think when Chris goes, I don't think he's going to take it as hard as somebody else. Like when Bradley goes, I very well expect him to be loud about it. If Stephanie Johnson goes, I expect her to thank everybody. If
and just start hugging everybody.
Like, you know what, right? Like I feel like a lot of these people, I feel like this is going to be a really loud cast. When Donathan goes, I feel like he's going to be like, man, that's crazy. I can't believe it. Like, I feel like everybody's going to talk. Chris, I don't feel like is as big of a fan as everybody else that he's going to be like, man, that sucked. Or, wow, that's great. You know, thanks, guys. Like, I feel like I can see Chris just walking right off and just being like, all right, see you guys like later. After Jeff snuffs his torch, he turns around and he's just like, thanks. And this happens actually for a lot of people. That's why I put 3 points on it. A lot of people end up going and getting their torch snuffed without saying a word. Yeah,
I think it does happen more often than, I mean, we can look at the season 35 one, but it happens more often than you think because a lot of people talk after Jeff snuffs the torch, it's more natural to turn around and say like, hey, I had fun, or hey, F you guys. It's more of a natural like progression. You and I have very different views on Chris because I have him getting blindsided. And when people get blindsided, they're either like, what the F, or they're like, oh, great job, guys.
Hey, JP didn't talk.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, nutshell of heroes, hustlers. But in the Hollywood Reporter articles, he asks every single contestant, like, how do you feel about the game? Like, what happens if you get voted out? And because we're on a season with so many super fans, a lot of people are going to say, hey, I'll applaud them. I'll say, you know, great job. You guys got me. I feel like the way that the game is progressing is people are taking it less personally. Obviously, that's an extremely generic thing to say. And I know that Chris isn't on our list of like wicked super fans, but I think he is someone who appreciates the game. And I think the thing is like people who get voted out might just say, good job. And then that's it. You're done. You're out of the prop bet on that. But he could also be kind of more quiet, more brooding. So I get where you're coming from on that. This one, I actually put Angela. So Phil has her getting a hashtag and I have her going out pretty quietly. So we'll see which one that happens. Maybe they both happen, but she seems pretty quiet to me. I know that she's got a really cool story. She's a natural leader. She probably may not really fit in with her tribe early on, but I think she'll know when she's going home. And people who know when they're going home, they're nodding when they get their first vote. And I see that happening with her. So I see her going quietly. Maybe she turns around. She might not even turn around and say anything. And then, I just feel like she's a more loud person who might be a little bit louder. I don't know. I don't know. She could go either way for me. I think I actually have 3 on this as well. With her being loud, she could, I think it depends on how comfortable she gets. I think if she's not immediately set in stone with her tribe early on, I think she'll fizzle out kind of quietly. But then I think if she makes it to the merge and if she does really well, she's going to start building her resume and she's going to start doing some crazier things. So in which case, I agree with you. She could get pretty loud.
Yeah. All right. So number 15, this is somebody who will last over an hour in a challenge. Now this one's tough because they don't really necessarily do the challenges where you could do over an hour anymore, all the time at least. And you have to make sure this person makes it to a merge and makes it to a challenge where they could do that. And although I don't necessarily know if this person's definitely making the merge, I ended up putting Sebastian here. I put 2 points on it because is that who you did too?
That's what I did. Yeah.
I just feel like if Sebastian makes the merge, just an easy guy to have this happen. Like if they do the poll challenge and they want to bring back the one where Ozzy held a record and then he ended up losing, like this is where Sebastian goes and gets his record. You know what I mean? He goes and sits up there for a really long time and just hangs out. Like I feel like this guy's got balance. He's, he's like a water guy. I feel like he could do a lot of it, and I think he's going to last an hour.
I really like this thing that we're doing with water people. We got Morgan and Sebastian are just water guys, water gals. I had him there too. I only put one vote of confidence because I'm not really sure if he's going to make the merge. But he has brought up a good point. I think they've been told already that they're getting half the rice because he said they're going to need me more than usual, which makes me believe that they already know that. But it's funny, when I was writing his name down, I was actually envisioning that Aussie challenge. And same thing, I'm typecasting him, but he's also typecasting himself. He's wearing basically an immunity idol around his neck. Like, the guy is literally a fish. So I have him doing that. It's pretty stereotypical, but that was one of the first ones that I placed.
Yeah. All right, so number 16 then goes to 10 or more tribal councils as a player, not as a jury member, has to be as a player. And I put Brendan for this. I wanted to put him as my winner. Once I found out Alexa was doing it as the winner, I figured I'd switch him to something that means that he would be the winner. And I put 2 on this one for Brendan. Okay.
For this one, actually, that's super funny. For this one, I put Wendell, Phil's new winner choice in the prop bet. I actually gave him 3 points of confidence on this. I think Wendell is going super far. I had him winning the boot list. I think he is so likable. Everyone, I think, is going to get along with him. He's probably decent in challenges. I think he'll be helpful around camp. He's very charismatic. That's someone and he's on the tribe that I think is going to lose a decent amount. Yeah, I think Wendell's a pretty easy choice for this.
And I had Wendell there. I literally just flopped Wendell and Brendan.
For the sake of us not agreeing on much, which isn't really the case because I think we have like 4 things that have matched already. Yeah.
So I did end up flopping that one. So I agree with you completely on Wendell. Although I don't necessarily think that he might not win, but if he loses like the first 2 tribals or something and then goes and gets 5th place or 6th place, that's about 10 tribals. So that's why I did that. This next one is a confessional in every episode they're in. So once again, the night that the show is on, they have to have a confessional, at least one that night. And this plan has worked for me beautifully the last couple times. So I think it was in 33, which was Millennials versus Gen X. I lost that one because I put Michelle as blindfold. Who did I put? Forget who I put for that one. But anyway, for 35, my plan was just put the person that you think is going to get voted out early. I put Lauren. And I said, but if Lauren makes it deep, she's going to get a lot of screen time. So I actually put Chelsea here.
That's what I did.
I think that the reason with this one is I really think Chelsea's like one of the first 2 or 3 boots. And if she is, then I win this. If she gets deep, then maybe I'll get lucky and she'll get a confessional in every episode like Lauren did.
Yeah. I did the exact same. I picked Chelsea and I put 3 on it because and we could be super off here because a lot of people were off about Lauren. This is something, she's not on Twitter, so it's not as easy for her to like promote herself as everybody else. So we could be super off here. But I'm watching videos and I still don't get anything. I think she's going to go early. Most, if not all premieres, every single person gets to talk. And this is a 2-hour one. So she's going to talk on her first night. So if she survives those first 2 tribal councils, I hope that she gets a confessional in her boot episode because I think everybody should. I think if she doesn't go out this week, she doesn't go at the premiere, she goes out the next week, in which case she gets 3 confessionals and it's fine. I haven't watched Simone too.
Watch Chelsea win the whole thing and then we're just wrong like I was with all
we are like a bunch of losers. Yeah.
All right, so number 18 then is they will have an episode title. Oh my god.
Title.
It has to be their quote. That's what I was already saying quote. It has to be their quote that is an episode title. For this one, I put Morgan. And I put 2 on it. And my reasoning for Morgan is I feel like Morgan could be somebody who goes early, but says like she just seems like she's gonna have positive lines the entire time from stuff that she says. And she might not make the jury, she might not make the merge, she might go early, but maybe she says something that's like, oh, that was a really good line. We need to use that as a title. So I put it with 2 because I think she's just positive.
I used a similar reasoning. I put Stephanie with a confidence level of 2, and my note was she says good stuff. She's another one. She's super positive, and a lot of the titles they're usually pretty generic. Like like, this is my chance. Like, this is $1 million opportunity. And she's someone who's going to say a lot of like good, positive, forward thinking things. And that's great for an episode title. She's going to have a lot of fun stuff to say. And I think I should put up 3 for that, but I didn't know where to put 1 somewhere else.
There you go.
Yeah, math.
All right. So Ghost to Ghost Island, Dominic.
Yeah, I did the same.
Yeah, and I put 3 on it. I just feel like from everything we've seen from him, like he's going to do everything he can to get to Ghost Island. So I figured that was like the first one I filled in. I was like, Dominic goes to Ghost Island.
Actually, we
put the same one for the last one too.
I was about to say, if I'm remembering correctly, we put the same one as the last one. And these, like we just said earlier, these are 2 that didn't exist before. We just we saw someone tweet us. Someone tweeted "Goes to Ghost Island," and then one of us came up with correctly references a Ghost Island artifact. So yeah, I got Dominic going to Ghost Island with a confidence level of 2, and I have Jacob correctly commenting on it with a confidence level of 1 because I just like don't know what's gonna happen there.
I put Jacob commenting on it with a confidence level of 3 mainly because I think if any of those get in front of him, he's going to say what it is because he blogs about the show, and I think on a season that's full of super fans, he's going to end up being like, oh, that's so and so's or that's so and so, and I think if his whole character on the show is he's the super fan, whatever the editors are doing, they're going to want to be like, hey, look, that was Jacob who said that. Like Jacob knew that was James's idol, even though probably everybody out there does. They're going to want to like make it apparent that it's him. So I did Dominic for going with 3 and Jacob knowing what one of them is for 3.
Yeah, I did. So Dominic with 2, Jacob with 1. I'm totally buying into your theory that Dominic is like all in on this Ghost Island thing. I said this in the bootless game. Like he's like he wants to play like Tony. He wants to give all of his credit to Tony, which is like fine. But Tony is going to go up there and like blow up Ghost Island. So that's what I envision Dominic doing too. And Jacob, yeah, he's a Survivor blogger. These are all a bunch of super fans, but he and like Donathan are who I have up there for like the 2 biggest, loudest super fans. And Jacob, I mean, again, I don't know if they're going to send in there. I don't know if he's going to comment on something, but this is a guy who knows the game really well. And I think he's a pretty easy choice for this.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our prop bets. Both of ours equal out to 40, which is what yours needs to equal out to. Look at the comment there. What the description? That's what it's called. Look at the description to see the example. And we're doing it until our episode with what do you call it? We're doing it after our episode with Vaughn next week. So Vaughn's going to be on. Vaughn's going to be on.
Spoiler, we're going to have Vaughn come next week, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So
he's
going to be on next Sunday, and that'll be great.
So this is the last game that everyone will be able to participate in. Next week, we're going to just be doing our fantasy draft, which is kind of more just like kind of fun and goofy. We like having Vaughn on because he's like way cooler than us, and he always has like really good insight. And he's great on camera. So it's going to be good to have him back. But yeah, so you get 1 less week to submit this one. The boot list, you got 2 weeks to submit it. This one, you only have like 6 to 7 days because today's Monday. We're closing this Sunday at midnight, Sunday night. So get these in early. We'll be tweeting at the link every day, every other day, just to remind you guys. But yeah, make sure to comment on this video with your prop bet. Don't email it to us or DM it or whatever. Should we talk about this other cool thing that we got
a logo. We got a new logo, which is dope, right?
Yeah, we got an awesome new logo. Credit to Pump Smash. I'm not going to reveal your name because I don't know, it's the internet and weird things could happen. But yeah, I found this person and they made an awesome logo. We're super excited about it. I've only like implemented it on like half of our stuff. So I think on YouTube, our header is still our old one. So I'll switch that one out in the next few days. Well, you'll see this is going to be our new permanent one. I know last season I kind of whipped that one up. But we're hoping to keep this one. We like the colors. We like our Bitmojis. Phil's had to change. I don't know what character we used like for your old one.
It was the one Will made for me.
Yeah. And you sent me your Bitmoji and I was like, your hair is shorter and darker, but this is cool.
I don't know. The red was, I don't know. My hair's also darker in real life now, so maybe that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're super excited about the logo and I don't know. We'll throw it on everything.
Yeah, we might we have some cool ideas for what we're gonna do with this logo. We'll I guess we'll kind of talk about it in the coming weeks because we still have to iron some things out. But there's some good things coming, and we think you guys are really gonna like it. Yeah, some good stuff.
But aside from that, That's our prop bet game.
Yeah,
right?
I know. We hit it just a little over an hour. And we're not sick of these people yet. I said this, I think, with Brendan when I was talking about Brendan as the winner, but I think I'm really unsure of where I put everyone in my boot list and my prop bet and my future fantasy team, because like I said earlier, all these people have such a variety of different accomplishments. And I think because these tribes are just broken up for whatever reason, rather than hero, healer, hustler, brain, brawn, whatever, it doesn't force me to typecast them as much. And I think that's why I don't know where to put everyone, because there are so many different personalities and qualities that they all have. So I don't know. I'm super excited for the season to start. I'm excited for the fantasy draft. That's always fun. But yeah, in the meantime, I can wrap it up, Phil, if you have anything else.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. So comment on this video with your prop bet. Please go in the same order that we did. I put it in the blurb. I don't know why we can't come up with that.
No, I don't know why we can't figure out description. We need of us to say it.
In the blurb, whatever the heck it is. I put it in there. Just follow that, copy and paste, but put your own people in. Put the name and your confidence level, 1 through 3. 1 is you're not confident, 3 you're very confident. Comment on this video only. This is the only place where you will be able to submit your prop bet. So you have up until next Sunday night. So you have 7 days, 6-7 days to do it. Also submit to the bootless game. We'll be promoting, we'll tweet out both of these links at the same time so you can do them both. Again, you only have until Sunday to do it. We'll be back on Sunday at some point with Vaughn to do our fantasy draft, which is always pretty fun. No points or any rankings, but it's kind of just a fun little thing for us to do. And then after that, it's the premiere. We're getting pretty close. We're just like a week and a half, 2 weeks out. And it's pretty exciting. So in the meantime, tweet at us at Survivor Specialist, give us a follow, like us on Facebook, Survivor Specialist, Phil and Alexa. We hit 3,000 YouTube subscribers, which is super cool. Happened on Valentine's Day. It was very romantic.
Yeah, Alexa was so pumped about that. She was like, I hope it happens on Valentine's Day. And then it did. So
yeah, it did. I tweeted out a bunch of hearts. It was freaking adorable.
Yeah, she was she was the last like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I unsubscribed and then resubscribed and then told my parents to do it. It was great. And yeah, give us 5 stars on iTunes. Give us a listen on iTunes. We're around. We're excited for the season, and yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys next Sunday, and submit your prop bets and submit your boot list. Don't forget. Don't
forget, ruin our days.
Yeah, exactly.